Hello everybody, I am Dr. Saubhagya from Oxford Medical College, Edavanalli, Bangalore. Today we will learn much about the entropion of the eye. What is entropion? The entropion means the inward turning of the eyelid margin is called as entropion. What are the problems created by the entropion or the symptoms that are created by the entropion? Entropion, by definition, we all know this is inward turning of the eyelid margin. What are the complaints of a patient with the entropion of the eye? Whenever there is lid margin turned inward, what happens to the eye is the eyelashes will cause irritation to the eye, and the symptoms are mainly because of the irritation by the eyelashes. The irritation to the eyeball by the eyelashes we call by the term trichiasis. That is irritation to the eyeball by the misdirected eyelashes. So whenever there is a constant irritation to the eye by the eyelashes, we get the constant foreign body sensation in the eye, watering of the eyes, and if the corneal irritation is more, then we get the symptoms what is called as photophobia. Photophobia means the light intolerance due to corneal fibers, the sensory fibers of the cornea exposed due to constant irritation by the eyelashes, causing erosion to the corneal epithelial cells. And also they will have the watering of the eyes and discharge because there is increased secretion of the tears due to reflex of irritation, and they will have superficial keratopathy, that means corneal erosions will be there, and constant irritation to the cornea and the conjunctiva causes the change in the morphology of the conjunctiva, that is called as metaplasia of the conjunctival cells, and also the corneal scarring. Signs in cases of the entropion, or the we can see there is a lid margin is inward rotated, and also we can see there is the eyelashes are causing rubbing against the eyeball, and they will have the overflow of tears, that is lacrimation, and we can find the findings in the conjunctiva as a congestion or the due to irritation and secondary infection there can be discharge also, matting of the eyelashes will be there, and because of the constant exposure of the conjunctiva and cornea to the irritation, there can be thickening of the corneal and conjunctival tissues causing corneal scarring and the conjunctival hypertrophy. What is the mechanism of the entropion? The entropion is due to the overriding of the preseptal portion of the eyelid over the pretarsal eyelid, and thereby causing the pressure onto the pretarsal portion and causing inversion of the lid margin. The structures which are necessary for uh, the strengthening of the eyelids are the tarsal plate, and then the Whitnall's ligament, and the superficial orbitofacial tissue, and superior orbitofacial tissue, and inferior orbitofacial tissue, and ligament of Lockwood, and the other structures are the motor, the motor part of the orbicular, the septal and preseptal part of the orbicular oculi, and so there is the in pathogenesis of entropion is that there is laxity of the orbitofacial tissues, thereby there is no holding onto the orbicular oculi and the tarsal plate, thereby the preseptal part of the orbicularis oculi overrides onto the pretarsal portion and causing the inversion of the lid margin. And there is a laxity of the canthal tendon also, which allows these the lid tissues to be weak and inverted. These are the pictures showing the orbicularis oculi pretarsal part and preseptal part of the orbicularis oculi and the orbitofacial tissues and its condensations to form the ligament of Whitnall here and the Lockwood ligament and the inferior orbitofacial fascia, which stretches from the Lockwood ligament to the medial palpebral ligament, and the superior orbital fascia showing its extension in the orbito the facial region, orbital part of the orbital region, and also its extension to that of the Whitnall's ligament and medial palpebral ligament. As long as the strength of these tissues and the muscles are strong enough, the lids will not be slack enough to override or the invert. When there is a weakness in the ligaments and the orbitofacial tissue, the orbicular oculi contracts, and this because of the laxity of the orbitofacial fascia, there will be inward rotation of the eyelid margin. This is again the picture showing the retractors of the eyelid, which keeps the eyelid position in a normal position and also tight. These are again the medial and palpebral ligament and its divisions, and the inferior orbitofacial fascia and superior orbitofacial fascia with their attachments. The causes for entropion includes it could be congenital or acquired. The pathology or pathogenesis, we know that there is the overriding of the preseptal orbicularis oculi over the pretarsal the orbicularis oculi, thereby causing inversion. In congenital, it is commonly seen in the chubby babies, where due to because of the increased fat accumulation in the lids, there can be the in the face there can be overriding of the lid margins, inward turning, causing inward turning of the lid margin. In acquired type, it can be involutional or it can be cicatricious or it could be acute spastic. So the involutional means it's due to the tissues which have undergone the loss of their elasticity and the strength, which are contributing to the contribution to the contributing to the curvature and the configuration of the eyelid. So this is due to the weakening of the oculofacial tissues or due to the orbicular oculi spasm, or it can be due to the loss of support from inside the eye, as in cases of enophthalmos or phthisis bulbi, such conditions. This is commonly seen in elderly people. This is due to the lack of support from behind. The retractors have become weak because the orbitofacial orbitofacial fascia has become lax, and the ligaments have lost its contour and the tenure, and because of that the orbicularis oculi will contract, and on contraction of the preseptal portion it will cause overriding onto the pretarsal the pretarsal portion of the lid, thereby because of the laxity it will cause inward turning of the eye lids, and there is also weakening of the tarsus, which allows the flexure of the lid margins, and vertical instability is due to resistance of the retractors, and as I have already told you, due to lack of support from behind, as in case of the anastomus and cysis bulbi. This is the picture showing the laxity of the skin and the medial palpebral ligament when we stretch and relieve the tissues. If the strength of the palpebral ligament and retractors are good, lid will retain its configuration as early as possible as soon as we release the stretching effect. If there is a laxity of the skin and the tendons and the retractors, the skin will remain like that on releasing the stretch effect. These are the pictures showing the entropions when it's occurred. What happens to the eyelid margin is that there is a thickened looking of the lower eyelid, and also you can see there is the eyelashes which have turned inside and causing rubbing of the cornea and the conjunctiva, and because of this the patients will have the constant irritation in the eye, watering of the eyes, redness of the eyes, and uh, difficulty in seeing the bright light, that is called as photophobia due to exposure of the corneal epithelial cells due to erosion by the constant irritation. This is the condition explaining the cicatricial ectropion. Cicatricial ectropion means when there is a contraction of the conjunctival tissues due to scarring effect, the lid margin will get turned inside and causes the features of the entropion. Here the causes for the scarring will include the gross mucocutaneous disorders, which causes destruction of the epithelial cells and the submucous tissues of the conjunctiva, thereby induces the dense scarring. These are some of the conditions like chemical injuries and thermal injuries to the conjunctival socket, and also in case of the systemic disorders which causes um, the diffuse mucocutaneous disorders like pemphigus vulgaris and drug reactions, and also in case of the um, so, Sjogren syndrome and trachoma and such conditions. Here beside there is a picture showing the cicatricial entropion in contrast to the involutional ectropion, which mainly affects the lower lid. Here we are seeing the upper lid is also turned inside, and upper eyelid eyelashes are rubbing against the eyeball. These are the pictures of cases of cicatricial entropion. Here we can see there is a gross tissue damage of the conjunctival socket and the cornea. This may be due to the systemic disorders, or it can be due to the local tissue damages, as it occurs in cases of the chemical injuries to the eye, or it can be due to the mucocutaneous disorders like pemphigus vulgaris and other. In cases of cicatricial ectropion, we can see the other pathological changes in the eyes, as there will be dense scarring of the conjunctiva and the corneal haziness, and the eye may be tricycle due to the pathological condition which has affected the eye, as in these pictures we can see the various types of cicatricial entropions. The acute spastic entropion is an entity which is seen in cases of the acute blepharospasm. Blepharospasm in which uh, the child or an individual attempts to forcible closure of the eyelids due to irritation in the eye. Thus is again commonly seen in children due to in cases of conjunctivitis, corneal in the pathologies like superficial punctate keratitis, corneal ulcers, and foreign bodies, and also in cases of the psychological disorders like the people who have got the hysteria and malingering, they cannot open the eyes properly. Because of that, they forcible closure. The oculi ciliaris will undergo spasm and causes entropion of the eyelid margin. Congenital entropion is a condition which is seen in children, but it's less common. It's seen commonly in chubby children. Because of the redundant skin, there will be the skin folding over the lid margin, causing entropion appearances, and or it can be the entropion can be due to irritation by the abnormal row of eyelashes, which causes irritation to the eyeball and then causing entropion. These are the pictures showing the entropion when it's occurred. What happens to the eyelid margin is that there is a thickened looking of the lower eyelid, and also you can see there is the eyelashes which have turned inside and causing rubbing of the cornea and the conjunctiva, and because of this the patients will have the constant irritation in the eye, watering of the eyes, redness of the eyes, and difficulty in seeing the bright light, that is called as photophobia due to exposure of the corneal epithelial cells due to erosion by the constant irritation. This is the condition explaining the cicatricial ectropion. Cicatricial ectropion means when there is a contraction of the conjunctival tissues due to scarring effect, the lid margin will get turned inside and causes the features of the entropion. Here the causes for the scarring will include the gross mucocutaneous disorders, which causes destruction of the epithelial cells and the submucous tissues of the conjunctiva, thereby induces the dense scarring. These are some of the conditions like chemical injuries and thermal injuries to the conjunctival socket, and also in case of the systemic disorders which causes the diffuse mucocutaneous disorders like pemphigus vulgaris and drug reactions, and also in case of the Sjogren syndrome and trachoma and such conditions. Here beside there is a picture showing the cicatricial entropion in contrast to the involutional ectropion, which mainly affects the lower lid. Here we are seeing the upper lid is also turned inside, and upper eyelid eyelashes are rubbing against the eyeball. Now we all know the clinical features of the cases of entropion is due to the irritation to the eyeball by the inward turning of the eyelashes. So, but the clinical picture here in these cases is the inward turning of the eyelashes with the thickening of the lid can be there, and also you can see there is a the eyelashes are causing irritation due to not due to ectropion, or it may be due to distorted eyelashes, as in case of trachoma or ulcerative blepharitis, or also in cases of the dystrichiasis. So the other clinical condition which has to be excluded from this clinical appearance is epiblepharon. Epiblepharon is an extra fold of the skin which causes superficial one more lid margin like condition, but it usually seen in children or in the elderly people due to blepharochalasis. In children, the treatment for the epiblepharon is nothing, it will resolve by itself. In elderly people, if it is due to blepharochalasis, and we may have to do cosmetic procedure of reconstruction of the lid, otherwise it can be left like that. If it is due to trichiasis due to uh, inflammatory disruption or scarring of the eyelash follicles, in these conditions we have to do epilation by means of electro destruction of the hair follicles or by thermal destruction of the hair follicles. The management for the involutional entropion or due to the other entropions, if it is amenable, we can do with the non-surgical methods. The non-surgical methods here it is application of the lubricant ointment so that the patient will have a soothing effect. Application of the bandage contact lenses so that the trichiasis will not cause much symptoms due to rubbing to the eyeball. Because of that irritation will come down if the entropion is uh, due to spasticity and transient, it may resolve by itself, and the lower eyelid taping is done to so that the eyelashes are uh, brought into normal position, thereby the symptoms will be reduced. Chemodenervation with the botulinum toxin is done so that the orbicular oculi will not undergo spasm and then causes the overriding. Otherwise, we have to concentrate on the other specific causes which are causing the stimulus to the eyelid to be contracted more, and then thereby these causes include, it can be due to trichiasis, it can be due to blepharitis, it can be due to dry eye or conjunctivitis. We have to concentrate on the provoking factors and treat them accordingly. The other procedure for the involution entropy and treatment is the surgical treatment, and wherein we have got various procedures of surgery for the different types of entropion, and we have to manage accordingly. This is the picture showing the taping procedure for the treatment of the entropion, in which the eyelids are brought into the normal position, that is just a posterior border of the eyelid coming in contact with the eyeball to that extent, and then we have to take a strip of plaster measuring about 5 centimeter in length, and the width of about the 8 to 10 millimeter, and then this is applied about 5.5 millimeter below the eyelid margin, and then pull the lower lid downward and onto the maxillary region. This tight application of the plaster to the maxillary region will prevent the eyelid from rotating inward, and the eyelid position is, if it is maintained for some time, and this may recover also if the spasm is released due to irritation in the eyeball. This is the method of taping. You can see the picture here, the application of the tape and post application. The Schuckert, Rathbun, Everting sutures. These are the sutures applied to keep the eyelid in a everted position. So when the contractors of the eyelid are weak, in which we take a bite from the lower cornix and pass it through the eyelid, and then just appear about 2 millimeter below the eyelid margin, and they are tied. Otherwise, when the eyelids are very lax, the suture again once appeared through the tarsal plate, and then they are passed through the tarsal plate to appear into the eyelid just below the lash line, and then tied tightly enough so that the retractors are pulled and put into the stretched position, so that the laxity of the lid is less, and then the lid entropion is corrected. This is the procedure which is adopted for the people who have got a bleeding diathesis, in which the surgical procedure is difficult. These are the pictures showing the procedure of the Kukhart Rathburn sutures pass from the fornix to the below the lash line and they are tied. After tying, we can see in this picture the posterior lid margin is in configuration with that of the eyeball. Entropion is rectified. This procedure cannot be adopted as a permanent procedure for everyone because the Vicryl which we use as a suture here, it will get absorbed and then laxity will recur and then the patient may land up in recurrence. The important surgical procedure for the involution entropion is the plication of the lower eyelid retractors. Here we can see there is the lower eyelid retractors are being plicated and then again they are tied together so that their strength is maintained and the contraction of the orbicularis will not cause the inward turning of the lid margin. The Weiss procedure for the correction of the entropion is full thickness incision to the tarsal plate and putting the everting sutures so that the lid, the tissues are put into an outward contracture, thereby the inversion of the lid margin is prevented because of the scarring. You can see here the full thickness incision to the lid horizontally, and then the lid sutures are put in such a way the sutures are tied outside and everted. The tissues are kept everted, thereby the scarring contracture will prevent the retraction of the lid margin towards the eyeball. The correction for or surgery for the congenital entropion includes the procedure here is to prevent the tight forcible contracture of the orbicular oculi, in which an ellipsoid of skin is excised from below the lower punctum horizontally for about the 10 to 15 millimeter, and this ellipsoid of the excised skin is sutured tightly, thereby the skin keeps the lid lagged so that the entropion will not occur. The surgical correction for the cicatricial entropion includes first of all the correction of the mucous membrane contraction which has occurred following the injurious agents which I have already explained. The main purpose is here is to release the scar of the conjunctiva and then allow the lid to be relaxed. Otherwise, if the scar releasing is not possible, we have to do a conjunctival grafting from the autograft or from the homogeneous graft or the mucous membrane graft taken from the buccal mucosa. Otherwise, we can do amniotic membrane grafting. After reconstructing the congenital mucosal scarring, if there is persistence of the entropion, then we can correct by releasing the skin and then allowing the skin to be tightened with that of the retractors of the eyelid. The other procedures are by means of the Z-plasty of the eyelid skin, wherein we will excise the part of the skin in the Z fashion and then we suture it back in the Z manner so that the skin retraction will allow the eyelid to be kept everted.